welcome back to Akshata's recipes. Today's recipe is a Mpet Peru, which is fresh methi or fenugreek leaves with a little bit of chickpea flour or besan. It's super easy to make and it's really delicious. I also have another recipe called Mpet Peru, which is on the similar lines, but you're using onions. I'll leave a link to that recipe below. So let's get started with today's recipe.
So friends, here I've taken 1 tablespoon of oil. Now this is 1 cup of methi or fenugreek leaves that I've chopped really fine. I'll tell you how to prepare it at the end of the video, to watch the video till the end. Now once the oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye. Once they begin to splutter, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera, half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder. Now next I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of green chili and garlic paste. So I've taken 1 green chili and 2 cloves of garlic and made it into a fine paste. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of that. And now we're going to fry this paste really well. Now we'll get the lovely aroma of this garlic and green chili. So fry this for about half a minute or so on a low flame. This paste really enhances the flavor of this recipe. And now I'm going to add 1 medium chopped onion. Now once you add the onion, you're going to fry the onion really well with the rest of the bagar or the fodni. And then we're going to cover and cook the onion for about a minute on a low flame, stirring in between. So cover it, and after after a few seconds, just remove the lid and just mix up everything really well. And let the onion fry well, and it'll become translucent too. And now once the onion is nice and fried, we're going to add our methi leaves or fenugreek leaves. So I'll leave a link to the video of how I clean and prep my methi, and watch the video till the end because I've explained as to how I've prepared the methi too for the recipe. Now mix all of this really well together. We're going to add some salt to taste. And I'm also going to add a pinch of sugar because methi is little on the bitter side, so just a pinch of sugar. And now mix everything really well. And again, we're going to cover and cook this for about a minute on a low flame, stirring in between. So by doing that, what happens is the onion as well as the methi leaves some moisture. And you can see that it's nicely cooked and it's left some moisture now. So now we're going to add about 1/4 cup of chickpea flour or besan. And we're going to mix everything really well together. And again, we're going to cover and cook this for about a minute on a low flame, stirring in between. So every few seconds, just take off the lid and mix all of this really well together. And then you'll soon find that the methi is nicely cooked, and so is the chickpea flour, the besan. And then what I like to do is just add about a teaspoon of clarified butter or ghee. And then I like to put the heat off and just cover and keep it for about half a minute or so. Now whatever of the besan kind of sticks to the bottom, just scrape it off. That also enhances the flavor of the dish. And that's it, guys. Your Mpet Peru is all ready. So do try out this recipe.
I hope you enjoyed today's recipe and I hope you give it a try. Now, just a few tips about methi. Now, if you're especially for beginners, if you want to know how to clean your methi, I leave a link below in the description box. Now, what I do is once I'm done with plucking out the methi leaves, I soak it in water to which I've added salt for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you just pick up the leaves, put them in a colander, and again rinse them. You will see how much of water, how much of residue is there in the water. There's a lot of mud and residue. So it's a very important step that you do clean your methi really, really well. And then once you put it in the colander, just wash it once or twice again, dry it up completely by patching it with a dry cloth, and then you chop it up. It's much easier. So I've got quite a few methi recipes and other leafy vegetable recipes. I'll leave all those recipes down in the description box as well as the comment section. So thank you for joining me today to see this recipe, and I'll catch you soon in my next video, sooner than you think. This is Akshita signing off. Take care guys. Bye.
So let's see this beautiful, delicious and very easy recipe. Now here I've washed the drumsticks really well and I've cut them up into halves. I'm just using 2 long drumsticks. They should be nice and green in color. Now I have 1 cup of thick coconut milk. This is half a medium onion chopped fine, 1 slit green chili, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, jeera powder, 2 teaspoons of coriander or dhania powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of red chili powder, some salt to taste. So I have washed the drumsticks well and I've cut off the ends of the drumstick. And you're going to take off this thick peel that comes off. So cut it off like this. And whatever peel comes off, just take it off. This is a very quick and easy recipe. Now I'll leave a link of how I make the coconut milk at home. I'll leave the recipe in the description box below. And now we're just going to take off the thick peel of the drumstick or the shenga. With a knife or a potato peeler, just take off the thick skin. You can keep it also, some people do keep the thick skin of the drumsticks, but I like to remove it. And then you're just going to cut it into even size pieces like this. Now, if you want to find any of my recipes, all you need to do is in the YouTube search button, type the recipe you're looking for and just type Akshita's recipes and my recipe will come up. Now here I've heated 3 cups of water. We're going to bring it to a gentle boil. We're going to add the drumsticks. And we're going to let the water boil completely. Now we're going to cover and cook it on a low to medium flame for about 8 minutes, leaving a little bit of gap. Now we're going to heat a pan and add 1 teaspoon of oil. Once the oil is hot, we're going to add the slit green chili. I'm using the light green chili because it's not very spicy. Fry the chili really well. Now we're going to add the onion and we're going to fry the onion till it's translucent. Now we're going to add the powder masalas of haldi and red chili powder. Add the cumin and coriander powder. Mix everything really well together. So this recipe you don't need to grind any masala because we're using coconut milk, we're using all the spices. So it's a very quick recipe. You can also buy the store-bought coconut milk. And now we're going to add this thick coconut milk. Give everything a good mix. And I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water to the thick coconut milk and just the remaining coconut milk and rinse it and add that too. Now mix everything really well together. Let all the powder masalas mix well with the coconut milk. Add some salt to taste. Let it come to a gentle boil. This is a very light and refreshing kind of curry. You can have this with rice. You can have this with chapatis or puris. And now you can see that our drumsticks are cooked really well. So we're just going to take them out and add them to this curry. Basically what happens is, because we have boiled the drumsticks separately, it saves on the cooking time. So now you just have to add this cooked drumstick to the curry and then just let this whole curry, cook for about 2 to 3 minutes till everything comes together really well. Now you can keep the curry very thick or you can make it thin by adding a little more water. It all depends on what consistency you're looking for. Mix everything really well together. And now you're just going to cover and cook this just for about 5 minutes on a low to medium flame. And after 5 minutes, just give it a stir. And again, we're going to cover and cook it for another 3 minutes. The purpose of this is that we want all the masalas to blend into the drumstick really well, because drumsticks, they absorb all the masalas, the curry. That's why when you eat into them and you bite and suck on the drumstick, you get all the lovely juices and our lovely drumstick. So let's start prepping the pumpkin or the bhopla. We're going to make a kind of a raita out of this. So after washing the lal bhopla and the pumpkin well, we're just going to remove the peel and all the seed part of it. Wash the pumpkin really well. And we're just going to use the orange part of the pumpkin. Remove all the rind and the seeds and cut them up into cubes like this. This is a very delicious raita, very refreshing and very light. And it's so filling, you can have this all by itself as a meal. So just be sure to remove all of the seeds, the pips, the rind, the peel, and only use the orange part of the pumpkin. Now once you finish prepping with this part, we'll start making this lovely raita. It's also called bharit in Marathi. Bhoplet's bharit means pumpkin raita. So after we've cut it up into cubes like this, our next step will be we're going to sprinkle a little bit of water, and now I'm going to add it to my pressure pan, and I'm going to cook it just for 2 whistles on high and then keep it on a low flame for about 5 minutes till the pumpkin is nice and cooked. It doesn't take a long time for the pumpkin to cook. So now our pumpkin is nice and cooked and soft and all ready. Now here in a small pan, we're going to make a tadka or a fodni. So I've added about a tablespoon of ghee. We're going to make the tadka in ghee. You can use oil too. Now I'm going to add 1 green chili that I've chopped fine. When the ghee is nice and hot. So we will also need some cumin, some hinga or asafoetida. So now once the ghee is hot, I'm going to start by adding the cumin seeds or the jeera, followed by the hinga or asafoetida. Next, I'm going to add the green chili, and we're going to fry the green chili really well till it turns a little bit white in color. So now you can turn the flame off. Our tadka is ready. Just let it cool down a bit. Now we're going to take the pumpkin. We're going to add a little bit of salt. To taste, say about a teaspoon or so. We're also going to add some sugar, say about 2 teaspoons of sugar. And 2 tablespoons of roasted peanut powder. So just take, about 1/4 or 2 tablespoons or 1/4 cup of peanuts. Just dry roast them, and once they've cooled to room temperature, just grind them coarsely in your mixer. Now I'm going to add 5 to 6 tablespoons of dahi or yogurt. Use the thick part of the dahi, and then you're just going to mix everything well together. You can add as much dahi as you want. I'll leave a link of how I prepare dahi at home. It's very simple. And now you're just going to add this tadka or this forty. Give it a taste and you can adjust the salt and the sugar. Mix everything well and you can just garnish it with some chopped up coriander leaves. So let's start with today's delicious mango salsa. Let's go through these ingredients. Now here I have 2 ripe mangoes that I've cut up into cubes, and we're going to use both the seeds also. Here I have half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder. This is 1 tablespoon of jaggery or gur, but you can adjust it according to your taste. 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds or dhania. 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, which is mohri or rye. 7 to 8 curry leaves. This is 1 cup of water. This is half a cup of freshly grated coconut. These are about 4 dried red chilies and some salt to taste. That's all we require for this delicious recipe. So let's begin with the recipe. So first I'm going to add my coconut, the red chilies and the coriander seeds to my mixer jar. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water, and we're going to grind this to a very, very fine paste like this. See the beautiful color? Now I'm going to just transfer the ground paste to a bowl. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water and rinse the jar, and we're going to use this masala water for our salsa. It's got all the flavor, so we don't want to throw it away. Now I'm going to add my haldi powder or my turmeric powder to my masala paste. Now why do I do this? Because when we add turmeric powder to our mixer jar, it coats the plastic part of the jar and it gets discolored. So I always add my turmeric later on. So now I'm going to heat a pan and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil to the pan. Now once our oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add our mustard seeds. Let them splutter in the oil. Keep the flame between low to medium. Once they do begin to splutter, we're going to add our curry leaves. Now I'm going to add the ground paste. And we're going to fry this paste in the oil for at least a whole minute on a low to medium flame, stirring it. Now you can either use two large mangoes like I've done, or if you have smaller mangoes, you can even use about 4 or 5 small mangoes. Now we're going to fry the paste really well. This is really key to getting that beautiful taste in the salsa. This is a real summer recipe and a must try. Now I'm going to add the masala water, give it a nice stir. And I'm going to add another half cup of water. And again mix everything really well. Now you can increase the flame to low to medium, stirring so that everything, all the masala gets nicely mixed with the water. Now we're going to add the jaggery or the gur and stir it until all of the jaggery does melt in the mixture. Now once the jaggery melts, you can just give it a little bit of a taste to see if you want to add a little more of the jaggery. Now we're going to add some salt. And we're going to mix everything really well. Now also remember that when we add the sweet in the mangoes, they're ripe mangoes, so they're sweet. So it will, sweeten the salsa also. So take that in mind. So first, let's add just about 1 tablespoon of the jaggery. And then once you add the mango, give it a taste, and then you can also add a little bit more of jaggery by just grating it very fine so that it immediately melts in the liquid. Now we're going to add the mangoes really gently, and we're going to stir the liquid also very gently so that it coats all of the mango pieces. And now we're just going to cover and cook this on a very low flame for about 8 to 10 minutes. Oh, the aroma is just mesmerizing, and it's really, you just can't wait to dig into this salsa. Now this goes really well with some rice or some pickle, rice, pickle and papad. It's like a real soul food. It takes me back to my childhood days in the summertime. So you must try this out either with small ripe mangoes or with 2 large mangoes. So do give this recipe a try.
And welcome to Akshata's Recipes. Thank you for being here today. So I had got a request from a friend, Naomi, and she had requested a carrot cake. So today I'm going to be coming up with this recipe, and it's super simple, and I've added some few ingredients to make it extra special and elevate the taste of this dish. But other ingredients are just basic ingredients that we use in our baking all the time. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, so let's get started.
So friends, let's get started with today's really easy to make and delicious carrot cake. So here I have 3 carrots that I've grated using a cheese grater. These are 2 eggs. This is 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour or maida. All ingredients with the exact measurements will be in the description box below. This is the sieve that I'm going to be using. This is about 3/4 cup of butter. This is an inch of ginger that I've grated really fine using the cheese grater. This is half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder. This is some freshly grated nutmeg, about half a teaspoon. This is 3 tablespoons of milk. This is a tablespoon. The other day I got a question, can you please show what is a tablespoon? So this is a tablespoon. This is 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, and this is a teaspoon. So whoever asked that question, I hope this helps you out. And this is some icing sugar, or rather powdered sugar. So this is a round tray that I've just lined up with some butter paper. Like I said, don't worry, all ingredients with their measurements will be down in the description box below. So let's get started making this super simple yet yummalicious carrot cake. So first I'm going to sieve all my dry ingredients. So I've mixed up the flour, the powdered sugar and the baking powder together. This is a very important step. You really need to sieve it because everything then gets evenly mixed together. Then I'm going to take my butter and transfer it to a bowl. And I'm going to beat this for exactly 5 minutes. So put a timer on your phone or your watch because we want a very smooth consistency. And this is really important if you want to get a lovely superb cake. So just, you can use an electric whisk to make your work easier. But 5 minutes, beat this up. And you'll see that the color of the butter also has changed. Now I'm going to add all the other wet ingredients. So in go my 2 eggs. I'm going to beat this up together too. Then I'm going to add in the other 2 ingredients, which is the milk and the vanilla essence. So we got all our wet ingredients mixed together. Now I'm going to add in my nutmeg powder and my cinnamon powder. Nutmeg is also called xyphal. And then I'm also going to add my grated ginger. And cinnamon is dalchini. Now in a large bowl, I'm going to add a little bit of the dry ingredients. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of the wet ingredients. I'm going to give this a mix. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the carrots, and then again I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm going to repeat the process. Again, a little bit of the wet, a little bit of the dry, and then the remaining carrots. And then just give everything a good mix. Now you're going to find that this batter is a little different from the regular cake batters that we make. It is a little denser and a little on the thicker side, so don't worry about it. So this is what your consistency is going to look like. But trust me guys, the moisture from the carrots and everything just works out super well. And then just transfer it to your cake tin. Don't forget to preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes in advance. So that's my oven all preheating. And then I'm just going to put it into the oven and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for about 45 to 50 minutes. Keep an eye on your cake because every cake is different. So after waiting patiently, and after my entire home had the aroma of this beautiful carrot cake, our carrot cake is ready. And there it is. It's got a beautiful natural color. And just check that the cake is ready by just inserting a knife into it. If it comes out clean, it's all done. And guys, when it completely cools down, only then try to cut up the cake. Otherwise, it's going to just crumble up. But this cake is just the perfect carrot cake. Do try it out, guys.